What's up, everybody? It's Carolina Calvin, and I want to talk about the Carolina Panthers beating Tampa Bay Buccaneers 27-6 in Carolina. Um, I'm just gonna get into the individual stats and how some of the guys perform. I'm gonna start with Tampa Bay. I usually do the team that lost first. Mike Glennon, 14 of 21, 180 yards, and zero touchdowns, one interception. He was sacked 5 times with a QBR of 16.7, rating 73.5. He didn't look that good this game. He was under a lot of pressure, but there were some throws in this game that he did miss. So definitely did not look good in this game. And in recent weeks he has looked a lot better. But just not today. The pressure got to him. When he was under pressure, um, he had a cute quarterback rating of 13.9, which is horrendous. Meaning that the pressure really got to him. He wasn't able to complete his passes under pressure. Um, the Tampa Bay rushing game, um, Rainey, 17 carries, 63 yards. He really started to bust out some runs in the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter the game was out of reach. So pretty much, a running game was pretty much, you know, yeah, it's pretty much you gotta have to pass to even try to attempt the amount of comeback. So the running game was pretty much eliminated. First half he didn't do much. It was mainly in that third quarter where he got a majority of his 63 rushing yards. Um, for the most part, they only ran the ball 20 times. Rainey ran 17. So for the most part, the game was out of reach. So the running game was pretty much eliminated. Receiving, Vincent Jackson, 3 receptions for 75 yards. He had a longer 60 yards. Outside that big catch, he didn't make virtually any impact on this game. Really couldn't get open, and you have to get a hats off to the coverage and also pressure that Carolina's front was able to get on Mike Glennon. Taekwon Underwood, 3 receptions, 51 yards. Um, I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong. Owosu, 1 reception, 20 yards. Wright, 2 receptions, 17 yards. And for the most part, that's just about it. They weren't able to do anything in terms of the passing game, because Glennon couldn't get the time, and when he did get the time, the balls weren't very accurate. um, the Tampa Bay defense, they did make some plays in this game early on, but Carolina, when they needed to really move the football, Deshaun Golson did not look good. Revis got beat really bad on a double move by Ted Ginn. He didn't look that great. He did drop an interception that he got injured on, but for the most part, they didn't look that great. There was some guys. Some of their bigger name guys didn't look great. On defense, especially in that secondary where Reeves not looking at he didn't play too well. Sean Golson didn't play well. Gerald McCoy looked really bad in the run game. So when some of your top players not playing well, it's gonna be hard to stop anybody. Um, you know they played a lot. They played okay. Let's just say it like that. They played okay. They definitely have played. They've had better games from that defense. But you know, the Sunday afternoon game against the Panthers was not one of those games. And Carolina was able to move the ball against them. They couldn't really get pressure on Cam Newton. They couldn't keep him contained in the pocket. He broke off a couple run. He broke off a couple runs. When he got time in the pocket, he was able to complete some balls down the field. So they got to sure that pass rush, and some of those guys in the secondary. We'll have to see how the injury to Reeves goes, but he didn't look good in this game. Golson has not been that great this year. Definitely seeing why the 49ers didn't want to pay him, especially since they're not really losing the beat defensively, especially in that secondary. Well, Whitner. Um, but there were some guys that did play well defensively, and I want to talk about those guys. Um, apologize. Gerald McCoy did, he did look good against the, in terms of the pass rusher, getting some pressure. But as I said, they really couldn't get much consistently. He was one of the lone guys getting pressure, but against the run, he wasn't that great. Mark Barron made some plays in the run game. Not so much in the pass, but he did make some plays in the run game. So, that's one of the lone bright spots with that defense. The defense didn't look that great today. They were able to, keep it close. They got off the field a couple times, but, with the way the offense played, with the way the offense played, the defense was on the field for a little bit longer than they should have been. On to Carolina. Cam Newton was 18 of 29, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He was sacked. He wasn't sacked at all with a QBR of 88.4, rating of 85.8. As you see, he did not get sacked at all. They did get some hurries on him, but he was either able to escape or throw the ball away. He was only hit in this game twice. That doesn't bode well for a team. For any team, you got to get some pressure on the quarterback, especially in a passing league where you give a quarterback time today. With the rules back in the secondary, they're gonna pick you apart. If you can't get them to the ground or get some hits on the quarterback, they're gonna pick you apart. Just about any starting quarterback playing today. Rushing, Cam Newton 5 carries, 68 yards. He did have the big 56-yard carry, and he also had the one touchdown where he reached over the goal and got the touchdown really quick. For the most part, he pretty much skewed the numbers in terms of the rushing, but it's gonna always be like that because they're gonna have some design runs in there for him, and I actually like that they do, and they do that. Mike Tolbert, 9 carries, 48 yards, 0 touchdowns. He had a long of 17. Jonathan Stewart, 14 carries, 39 yards. Out of all the running backs, I think Mike Tolbert, looked the best. Jonathan Stewart really couldn't get it going. Couldn't break off any good runs. But Mike Tolbert looked really good as a runner. I think they should run him a little bit more. He was dealing with an ankle injury. He was playing through an ankle injury in this game. So and of course D'Angelo Williams was out this game, so you will see more so Jonathan Stewart. Mike Tolbert, they don't want to run him as much, but I think he should get more reps. He definitely looked like the better runner in this game. Also, he caught some passes, so I think they should put him in more often than they do. On to the receiving, Greg Olsen, 5 receptions, 85 yards. He played a good game. He was targeted 7 times. Steve Smith, 3 receptions, 51 yards. Was targeted 4 times. He made some nice catches. Ted Ginn Jr. threw 2 receptions, 47 yards. He had a touchdown. He was the one who put the double move on Darrelle Revis for the touchdown. It was a pretty nice move and accurate throw by Cam Newton. Mike Tolbert, 3 receptions, 41 yards. As I said, when he was in, he made some plays. He was blocking. He made some plays in the receiving game, and he just looked like, he was breaking runs, in the running game. Brandon LaFell, 3 receptions, 36 yards, and a touchdown. I really like what I saw offensively. Cam Newton, of course, missed some throws, but I like what I saw from the offensive line. They did a good job of, keeping Cam Newton upright. And, Cam Newton, outside of a couple bad throws and then a really bad throw that was an interception where he threw off his back foot. That was a terrible throw. But for the most part, he made some nice throws. He missed some. There was another he missed. It was in the end zone. Um, and he had Brandon LaFell. Brandon LaFell was behind the defense. He overthrew him. But for the most part, he made some nice throws, and he took care of the ball for the most part. um, Defensively, I like, of course, the front seven played really good. Our, the rookies at defensive tackle K1 Short and Star Lotuele. Luke Kuechly played good. Thomas Davis is having a breakout year, especially coming off all those injuries. Drayton Florence played pretty good. The secondary, they played good, but hats off as usual to the front seven. They were able to get tons of pressure on Mike Glennon. They were able to bottle up the run game outside really that third quarter when the Bucks were able to break. Rainey was able to break some nice runs, but for the most part, they kept the running game in check. They kept pressure on Mike Glennon to force him into some horrid throws. Hence why he had a 19 QBR and while he was under pressure. And defense yet again showing why they're one of the best defenses in the league. Let's see. Okay, both teams of course had 2 turnovers. We had the Mike Glennon weird fumble. We had the Mike Glennon weird fumble where it was they were actually in position to get at least 3 points where he was looking to throw the ball and it just slipped out of his hands and pretty much went out as a fumble. He also had the pick, which the flag got picked up, and it was obviously ruled uncatchable. And I honestly think it wasn't that much contact, so I don't think a flag should have been thrown in the first place. And those were the 2 interceptions, which one was a weird play, and the other was I don't know. Most would say a questionable call, but it wasn't that much contact. Penalties is pretty close. Tampa Bay had 4 penalties for 30 yards. Carolina had 3 penalties for 25 yards. Third down efficiency was a big deal. Tampa Bay was 1 of 10. Carolina's 5 of 13, which isn't that much better. But Carolina was getting a lot of the yards in first and second down. Carolina outgained them 426 yards to 206. They pretty much doubled, their yardage output. Sacks. Carolina had 5. Tampa Bay really couldn't get to Cam Newton. Time possession was also won by Carolina with 34 minutes 25 seconds to 25 minutes 35 seconds. So for the most part, this game was pretty much dominated by Carolina. Carolina was able to move the ball. The defense pretty much controlled the game. They controlled the pocket, and the game was pretty much won up front. Carolina's front seven, they were able to get pressure on Mike Glennon. They were able to slow down the run game, and Carolina's front, offensive line was able to protect Cam Newton. And they have some nice games in run games. Usually running by committee with multiple guys running the ball. But for the most part, in terms of pass blocking, those guys did an amazing job protecting Cam Newton. Yeah, that pretty much covers it. If you watched this game, please let me know what you thought about it. Obviously, it's Tampa Bay. Not too many people gonna want to watch Tampa Bay, but Carolina, a lot more people have been watching Carolina, especially after watching them live TV. People actually finally realized, wow, this team actually has a legit defense now. So it's good to see we got some national coverage. Other people are starting to see us. Let me know what you think about this game. Of course, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.